Speaking of ugly, the Melo stuff with the Knicks is only going to get uglier as the summer goes on and what's going to happen in the end. Everybody has something to say about it, of course. Everybody has an opinion on it. NBA awards were last night here in the city at Basketball City, and Charles Barkley was here, and, of course, he had something to say about it. Listen to what he says what Melo should do.
I think Carmelo should ask for a trade. You know, he's getting older.
So he should approve the trade clause.
Yes,
Waive it.
but he's in a great situation. He gets to approve the trade. But you don't want to finish your last couple of years playing on a bad team. So that's what I'm surprised he hasn't did it by now. I mean, listen, Carmelo's a terrific player, but why would you want to finish your career on a bad team? That doesn't make any sense.
How many years does Melo have left, Chris? He's 32. How many years does he really have left?
I think as a quality player in this league, I think he's got 3 years left.
3.
3 years left.
All right, so Melo has 3 years left.
Yes.
So 3 years on a team that probably won't be playoff ready in maybe 2, if they're lucky. You know, right? Another year.
That's wishful thinking.
And that's what, yeah, right. So you're thinking, so for Melo, if he gets, let's say he waives his no trade to go to a team like Washington. Now, is Washington any closer to a championship with Melo? A little bit. Are they at least a team that you think might contend in the East? You have Beal, you have
got John Wall.
Add Melo to that mix. You have another scorer on the wing. They're a decent defensive team. Their bench is terrible. They got to fix that. But does he make them a little bit better? If at worst Melo on the Wizards, like Charles Barkley said, go to a team where you have a chance to win. Now, win could mean championship. How about win just means get back into the playoffs and be a relevant factor in the NBA again, and not a cautionary tale or a sad story. If he's on a 45 to 48 win Wizards team that gets to the second round for the final 3 years of his career, doesn't that change?
Well, did he make the Wizards better by going to the Wizards? I mean, to say that they're only going to be in the second round. I mean, can you say they?
But how much better do you think they could be? Could they be a conference final?
I mean, you would like to think
team?
you would like to think that they'd be significantly better if you're adding another top 50 player on that
okay.
roster. But
So how bad? So what would it do for his legacy? Compare the two. Stay in New York. It's miserable. All the stories are terrible. They don't make the playoffs. It's you versus Phil. That dominates the headlines. Or go to the Wizards. You're a 45 to 50 win team. Second round, maybe once you get to the conference final. And then, your career's pretty much over. Which is the better way to end his career, and which would change his legacy, as we always talk about? Would you have a different outlook on Melo in the Washington?
I would have a different outlook on Melo if he factored in or he weighted winning on the court more significantly.
I just think there's too much of emphasis.
Because he knows if he stays here, he's not going to win.
Well, think about the emphasis.
He's not going to win. He's not going to be in the playoffs.
But you're saying win. So is win a championship at this point? Like, is it championship or nothing else? Like, is it, if you can't win it, because I think that's the argument. Where's he going to go where he can win a championship? Does it have to be that for him? Or can it just be, go back to winning so that when your career's over, we remember you as a winner, as a guy who actually won games and played in playoffs, not as a guy who was on a lottery team and was always miserable and throwing your headband and getting booed. Like, this cannot be the end game.
Does it have to be a championship? No. I don't think it has to be a championship for Carmelo Anthony, but it has to be winning, right? It has to be a winning season, preferably a playoff trip or two. I mean, that's what you want to see at this point in his career because you want to see the players value winning. What did Herm Edwards say back in the day? You play to win the game. Even if you're not in a position to realistically compete for a championship, you want to see a player chase after winning, right? Because that's ultimately what your legacy is going to be determined by.
Winning.
Be a part of winning.